Hitting live.
Did you press it?
What?
Stuart, I have a saying for you.
The higher, the fewer.
No.
Okay.
The bigger, the more expensive.
Perfect.
You take that to the bank. What did yours mean? Well, mine's pretty self-explanatory. What did yours mean?
Sorry, what? I was changing earbuds. What's going
What
on?
does your one mean? Mine was so self-explanatory. What does yours mean?
It's in the episode like 3 times.
What does it mean, though?
It's a good way to end a conversation. That's what the guy said. That's why Alexander went up to the 2 people that were arguing and said, the higher, the fewer. And then he went up to, they said it to his dad before he left off when he didn't want to eat supper.
Well, it's meant to be like a nonsensical conversation ender.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
I've never understood what it meant, even all of the years later.
I didn't get it the first time I watched it for this review,
Right.
but the second time I picked it up because
Okay.
I actually listened to what the old, crazy, weird orange guy said.
With that dad bod. Before they were cool. Hello, Stuart. How are you today? I've not seen you in so long.
I know, it's been forever, man. I'm good. How about you? How was your day?
I've been staring at you, listening to you, prepping stuff for you, and then I'll see you again. It's been all Stuart. All the time. Yeah.
You even got wet today. Whether that has something to do with me or not, I don't know.
Oh. Wow. Wheel, turn. Yeah, my cap came fine there. I went to the shops, so. Because I walk places, so.
I went out in the rain.
I don't have a vroom. So if I go to the shops, cap, hoodie, yes.
You walk now?
I walk now.
Oh my god. It's nonsensical as they fly now, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Welcome back, guys, for another TNG review.
Hello!
Episode 20 of Season 5, Cost of Living. Yeah. Should be...
Yes, there's ships galore in this one. It is Trekyards themed! Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. 100%.
Well, 100% not really. It is funny though how for Trek shorts we're slowly here and there building like the merchantman and the packet freight, like the things that are reused. So every time I see one of those, I'm like, I'm even more because I know it so well now, having animated with it. I think I appreciate them. You know, I still think the Packlet and Merchantman were the best 2 variants. Although I do quite like the Shellyak with all the extra cool stuff. But yes, I'll start sharing.
Go for it. Now tell everybody to hit like if you haven't already. And consider joining the channel. There's a join button down there. Or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. It's another way to help us out. Or just Super Chat. Super Chat your thoughts, comments about this episode. This is the way. Or, you know, just take part in the regular conversation in the general chat. You can do that also. Lots of ways to help us out and be part of our community. We really appreciate you guys and tuning in and showing up for these. So let us know your thoughts on the episode. This is how it's done, don't you know? Also, there are links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. You can get yourself some cool Trekyards merch, so consider doing that as well. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell icon to do all the things. But hitting like is the most important thing. We got 13 people and 12 likes, so I at least want one more. But, you know. Stephen Fothery is here. Jamie Somerville, Don, Ozzy, all the usual suspects. Gaming J, 1701, DGR Blue was here. Trekkernaut was here. You guys are awesome. Thanks for turning up for this one, because this is a less than stellar and less than exciting episode. It's fair to say, and yeah. Not sure how much we're going to have to say about it necessarily, so we need your input as well, guys, to help us out with this one. So If you can help us out in any way, even just participating and saying something about this episode, please feel free. We would appreciate that immensely. Once Sam gets back from sharing, we'll get into it. The higher, the fewer, don't you know? Ha! 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 Laughing hour. I encourage you all to laugh. But not at us. Well, I mean, you will laugh at us, probably. Especially if I do some jokes, then you'll laugh. Oh, look, Sam's back.
Hello!
Ha! Ha!
Huh?
Ha!
Ah!
It's not crying hour, it's laughing hour.
Okay, I haven't got balls to juggle. I can juggle. Oh. I can juggle ibuprofen boxes. Can you juggle with 3? I don't. My brain does not understand 3. It never has.
Yeah, that's something else I didn't realize till the second watch through this one. That was a holodeck glitch, but he had no balls. Because at the end, He was pretending to. It's like, So yeah.
No, I thought
Never
he was
caught
just,
that.
I thought he was just, making himself feel better.
No, I think it was a holodeck glitch with his programming. But maybe not.
Yeah, with his programming, I could see. The program itself, I feel like is pretty consistent. Okay.
Anyway, we'll talk about it when we get there.
So, Stuart, what do you think? Oh, I'll do a poll first.
Poll time.
Yes.
21 of you here now, which is more than when I just spoke with you guys. So hit the like button and contribute and help out in any way you can. Even just mentioning and talking about the episode. We want to hear about it from you guys.
Everyone say your favorite thing right now about this episode.
Oh, favorite thing right now. Go. Luoxana's cleavage. That's mine. I'm a bad person. I'm sorry. And glitter crafts. There's glitter everywhere. Tristan. This is a terrible episode. I do like the shots of the Enterprise and the idea of particles eating the main systems. Yes. Yes. Mud bath. Or bath mud is smooth, sticky, gets everywhere. All right, so the poll is up. Do you need starships and tech in your Trek, or are you happy with these sorts of episodes? Yes, I like all Trek. To be honest, ships and tech are for me, or really, I'd watch it either way.
That's a fair question.
It is.
So, Stuart, the question you've all been waiting for, you and all of your inner demons, as Roxanne would say, we many people. What do you think of this episode? And what do you remember from previous watches? And what have you taken new from this watch of this episode?
I didn't really remember this one. Like when I saw the title Cost of Living, I'm like, oh my god, it's the Timison one where he's like 60 and he's got to go kill himself, and it's like, no, wait a minute, it's not that one. And I completely forgot about the bee story with the things eating the ship. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of all right, isn't it? It's an Alexander episode, and Alexander. It's just kind of, it's okay. It's a filler episode in my opinion. But hey, so I don't think I got anything new out of it necessarily. Well, except for figuring out what the fewer or the higher the fewer means this time around. So yeah, this one didn't really register with me on past watches. I did remember her showing up at the wedding naked, but I wasn't sure what episode that was. So
yes,
how about you?
Her butt was there. So this is a funny old one because sometimes certain episodes live on in a different way. This episode I remembered very vividly from the encyclopedia CD, that they had only so many clips on it, and there were several from this episode: the flying dude, the bath for some reason, and the juggling guy. So a few of the visuals they also thought were meaningful enough, interesting enough to include. So those clips I've seen far beyond the episode. So they almost stand out in their own right in my head. In an episode I've seen it more than once, but it's not one that would drive you to rewatch it for any particular reason. That said, of course, that gives me the opportunity to rewatch it as an entirely different person as last time. And I want to commend the actual filmmaking of the episode, because A, the performances of Roxana is actually very good. She's a good mixture between her normal, because she can be stupidly over the top and also annoying, and she balances a relatability which she doesn't normally have, so her antics have more grounding. Like, she knows where they're coming from versus just be fun and silly. There's actually, she's doing a lot more in this version of the character, this episode, than she does normally. So that was really good to see in her.
I was going to say, I think this might be her first episode after Gene Roddenberry passed away.
We were also wondering that, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. And not just that, but there's a good amount of two shots in this episode that are one long take, especially one that when she goes to find Alexander in the Deanna's office the first time. Almost the entire scene is in one take, starting wide, going into him on her lap. No swaps, no breaks, and everyone's good in the scene. And there's a lot of nuance to both their performances, a lot of random moments that's like a page of dialogue in one take, which is 2 minutes. So there's a lot of those little things where they made it a quicker shoot by doing longer takes, and that let the characters breathe a lot more. So I commend some of those strong choices, because obviously you're using Roxana's performance. That's a big, you want to have the close-ups, you want to have the energy she's giving. You don't just want to do cut. So I commend them for that as well. I found that the Enterprise stuff like a decent A plot, but given C plot treatment.
Yeah.
And or it's happened before, right? And it's so odd to juxtapose from the seriousness of Brent and LeVar giving very serious performances to then everything else. That was a bit of a hard juxtaposition, which they didn't really have a payoff for. Not in the contrast factor. Yeah,
and there's a bit of a, for me, plot hole at the end as well.
Why isn't everyone dead?
Yeah. Well, not only that, why when the things leave the ship does everything start working again? Because they've already eaten the nitronium or whatever, and so the systems are already affected and need to be repaired. So that's a big what?
Yeah, that 23% structural integrity on the warp field core is staying at 23.
Yes.
A lot of fixing involved. Which, in fairness, you could fix that without too much retconniness. But, like I said, I commend a lot of the very small acting choices. Like, it was well directed for what they had. Alexander, I think, was as best he's ever been.
Yes.
He does good when he's annoyed, but his contrast was very effective, him happy and not. And like I say, the scenes where his long takes, he's giving it genuine depth, but the character is a lot of this repressed, because he hates his dad, and you can tell he hates being there, like, it comes across in the performance, and this one's about that, so it fits better. And I really wish they'd played more with Picard's best line of "I happily want to give her away." That could have been a whole B plot by itself, like that thing. Yeah. And Beverly's there
for a second.
And do you want to know what an AI program reviews this episode as?
Not really.
Oh.
But if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah. It's quite interesting.
I also got to say, Deanna looks the best she's ever looked in this episode at the end. That hairstyle, my goodness.
You do like long hair, that sort of thing.
I like curly hair, yes. Yeah, I do.
Okay, if you want to read out... God damn it. It does not give you many characters, does it? Okay, if you want to read out this in the... I'll do it in smaller chunks then. This is what the AIs think about this episode, Stuart.
Cost of Living is a mixed bag of an episode from Star Trek The Next Generation. While it's commendable for its exploration of personal growth and relationship, particularly through the amazing subplot with Lwaxana Troi and her unexpected suitor, it suffers from disjointed storytelling and overly melodramatic moments. The main plot, focusing on the malfunctioning Enterprise systems, it's not the main plot, but okay, feels tacked on and lacks depth. However, the character development, specifically for Lwaxana, offers some touching moments and insights. Overall, it's an entertaining romp. I want to say romp instead of watch, and its moments of humor and heart, but falls short of being a standout episode in the series.
That's fair.
It's totally fair.
I'm going to ask her how you would review it. I'll just have to... Do you know how you'd review it, Stuart?
Oh my goodness. Well, I just want to get on with the review, but sure.
Well, you know. There's enough to talk about. I'm going to do it in a Twitter comment so that it's shorter.
Ooh, my Captain Foley Twitter comment on this episode. Interesting. From AI.
Okay, this is your official AI reaction.
I can hardly wait.
And the last word moments.
Cost of living, a quirky blend of... I never used the word quirky. Blend of humor and heart in TNG. Loxana steals the show with her antics, but the main plot feels a bit rushed and lacks depth. Still, it's a fun watch with some touching moments. Doesn't sound like me at all.
Mine's shorter. Why am I giving it less to talk about? I'll read out mine. Cost of living, a diverse TNG episode. A divisive TNG episode. Loxana and Troy's antics add levity, but the main plot falls flat. Lacking depth, some touch moments, but overall a forgettable outing. So there we go, guys. That's our official reviews and our AI reviews.
Nice.
Okay. So where are we beginning, Stuart?
Action. Torpedo bays are loaded.
Pew,
Fire.
Some nice looking... I'll try to work out what these are reuses from. I'm sure they all are, but... Damn. Well, I'm wondering if they spent like half the budget on those shots just to have a little bit of extra. Because, you know, things cost. But it's like, yeah, but, you know, do more action, TNG.
Yeah.
Probably the billing was like, oh, no, that cost us $400,000. It's like, yep. It's like, oh, sure. Okay.
Well, we find out that the core is composed of nitrium and chronodide, and it's very... The torpedoes won't work, so they use a tractor beam. Something particle beam activated from the deflector dish.
Yes.
Disruptive nuclear effect within the core. It's like, okay.
Yes.
So it starts out really well, and there's some cool effects and, you know, some action, and it's like, oof, it's going to be a good one. No, it's not.
I was left wondering, though, A, why are they here? And B...
Stop the asteroid from hitting the planet.
Well, indeed. So they would know all about the fact they can't use tractor beams. They do everything they are going through in this episode, this scene. They'd have had 3 or 4 briefings on in the briefing room discussing. The fact that Picard is actually thinking of ideas, like, there'd be 3 or 4 plans, you know?
They could have just been going by and noticed it.
That's what I mean. That's a little bit different. But then are they saving people? The planet they don't save is habited, do they? It's just save planet from being hit.
Yeah. Doesn't have anything to do with the Prime Directive. It's just you're not making contact with them. They're not going to know you did it. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like it's a big opening, but it's vapid, right? It's there because. But yeah, all the effects are great. Even the glitter. The glitter that, like... Well, the fly-through is tremendous. Yeah, that first one was really good. And just the glow, that visceral... Very Generation shot with how dark the ship is. But very, very nice. That's definitely a new shot. And then... Counselling.
Yes. You didn't put your clothes in the laundry. Or the garment reprocessor, I guess.
Yep.
You told me that yesterday. You knew it applies today. It's like, that's great. Maybe you two should just come up with a contract.
Yep.
So you know your responsibilities. What would you want your father to do, Alexander? Not yell. I do not. Do not yell. It's great. No, it's a nice little family counseling session, actually. And I love how it ends with her like, you know, one day you'll appreciate that your parents gave you rules, and you'll learn to really appreciate your parents. And it's like, Riker to Deanna, your mother's on board. Ugh. It's really good. Yeah.
And I was very happy just to see Troy doing things. the advantage of having the limitation of the character is clear because they don't use it that much. But when she's in the scenes that are about her profession, she exudes so much character into them because that is her one thing. It's emotion, it's people. So it's fun to see her, juggle these people, and you can kind of sense that they're not a good pairing anyway. Worf's not a good dad, and this is a son that has a lot of problems. They're gonna butt heads, and that's sometimes okay in clown culture. But this is not a very workable solution, because of course Worf is just treating Alexander like a thing, an entity, not a child, not his child, definitely his child. It's odd. It's interesting, right? I wonder how Michael Dorn thought about it because it's so distinct in approach. He's not a good dad, I don't think. But he's not really a good son either. Or what do you think? As a dad, what do you think?
He's trying.
Which one? Or both?
As a dad, you said, so it's Worf. He's trying. Alexander is a little bit of a shit, but he's lost his mother. He's kind of been abandoned by the Rozhenkos, get thrown back to his dad. So he's kind of, he's doing kid things, honestly. But yeah, he's a little bit of a misbehaved, so.
But he's clearly not getting any real affection from his dad. So at what point, it's a well-established oh dear. And yes, I don't. Good choices by Michael Dorn. Good choices all around in this scene. And I love the end line. Nice long take. Goodbye, Alexander. Sometimes you gotta respect your mum. Lingers. Your mum's here. Shit. Beautiful, because you keep seeing short-term memory. That was a really good choice. And it's simple, but it's a good staging.
Yeah.
And oh god, she's back.
To be married.
Yes. Very abrupt, clearly.
Yeah. And then the next scene's 10 forward. He's like, yeah, we could have the ceremony here. And Deanna's like, well, who is this? What? Well, we haven't actually met. And maybe it's a good idea if you meet the person you're going to marry. And I love the back and forth with them. Roxanne is kind of standoffish. Like, I've kind of had to just do this. So I'm not alone. We find that out later. But yeah, it's nice. And then thankfully it gets interrupted by Worf and Alexander. But yeah, I think this moment with the two of them is really good mother-daughter kind of banter. So.
And again, many long takes. Tonally, it's weird on purpose. It's fun. They're so comfortable with each other to just like go at it in a way that other actors just wouldn't feel comfortable doing. So it feels very organic and very real. But also, Roxanne's still a bit under. She's not a full belt. And obviously, we learn later she's sad and alone, and this is a chance, and you can feel that the weight. And I think it really grounds her in this episode far more than normal. I think that's really good for her because she's still trying to exude, but the actress isn't in the eyes. It's well done. The acting, like I say, is what gets this episode over the line.
And I love how she focuses on Alexander to kind of divert her attention from.
Oh yes, yep.
And I think that's really well played out. So. Mr. Wolf, it's Worf, madam. This is what great, like a contract. What happens if Worf doesn't keep his end up? It's really well done, I think. And again, Alexander is really good in these scenes. Although in the last scene, right before he left, when Troy was talking to him, he was looking kind of off, like towards the camera, which was a little bit distracting. But I guess he just didn't want to make eye contact. I mean, that's fine. But
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. But no, it's good. And Mr. Wolf is annoying and sad, and Alexander is so small as actor. Every scene, you're just thinking everything from his scale down to such a degree. I'm sure I met Majel briefly, as old and decrepit as she was. Didn't see her stand up, so I don't know how tall she was then. But Alexander's a real small guy. And this does say something, actually, of how... Because Worf is all about honour and dealing with people at the correct time. So the fact that he feels it appropriate to barge in on a private meeting between you know, one of his best friends and her mother to force. Like, I know it's a story thing, but like that shows how inner he's feeling about the situation, that he must actively, severely interject. And I love his, you know, this is Troy. All the bad memories you can see flood back to him. It's, again, the acting here, they really are doing it well. It's just they're not very big scenes.
I love the one line too. He's being difficult. Of course he's being difficult. He's a child.
Yeah.
Or unreasonable, I think was the word.
Yeah. Yeah, just some fun lines. So many I can't remember, but it's good.
Yeah.
They have a great walk and talk.
Why here? We can't have her being on our ship just because one of my officers is her daughter. Well, there's another reason she's here. She thinks the honor of giving away the bride should fall on you. And I love Picard's reaction. Like you said, this should have played out more. There should have been scenes with Picard and her talking. I think would have been really good in this one. But yeah, nothing will please me more than to give away Mrs. Troy.
Because the only thing I thought, apart from I remembered what you said about Frakes being almost superfluous now as a character. He's like just sort of there to be there. He's giving it his all still.
Yeah.
But he's just there. And I loved Patrick's choice not to look at Riker at all during the scene. It's a subtle thing, but he just can't deal with it. I like that. It's a good choice by him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering, you know, she'll be back to bug you and probably get divorced again. Like, that's kind of her MO, that vibe. So it was too pure. You should have. Okay, this would have been a fun B plot for me. His just happiness. But you know, but it's a good little scene.
Sean O'Sullivan, €2.
Oh, thank you.
Hire the Fuller. I don't like Sand or Kurtzman.
He is coarse and gets on with your track.
I think you mean the higher the fewer, Sean, but thank you.
I think he's joking about Brian Fuller.
I hope so too.
So yes, 40 votes in the poll. We'll want 5 more votes, and then we'll swap out the poll. Let us know what you think. Love that laptop prop.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a good, weird prop. Oh, the sequence is one shot. No, it's not. After he sits down, it's one. Well, it was one shot, but then they cut to his close up. Apart from the close up, it's all one shot. So it's the same take, just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just waiting. He's there early, waiting for his appointment with Counselor Troy, and basically says, "I don't like my dad. I wanted to leave before he got home." And she's like, "Oh well." Then she says we should go do something. He's like, "What are the rules?" And she's like, "They're meant to be broken, essentially." Yeah. I love how she calls him Little Warrior. That's kind of cute.
Although I kind of wish she changed it throughout to reflect his mood. You know, like subtly, and it would be a little subtext of she's reading him well at the start, and then she's not able to read him properly at the end because, of course, she's in her own mind so much. Although they don't ever use her powers in this episode.
No.
Not even subtly, because in theory she knows what Alexander's thinking at all times. How they forget she has actual full 100%. Or I think probably the director thought that's too farcical, and even though we have literally a flying bubble, it's whimsy, not farcical. There's a subtle distinction. And I think keeping her grounded is important, because otherwise then as soon as you start having scenes of them in 10 forward yelling via mind telepathy, you're not really having the actors talk. You're having them record voiceover and edit. Again, these are distinctions to be made, but to have all the actors actually perform means all the scenes are genuine versus the farcicalness of in post, you know. Yeah. And I don't think it's while watching, but these are all interesting. Like, they've made these distinct choices. Yeah.
So she's like, "What do you think about going to a place full of free spirits?" And it's like, what do they do? It's like, whatever they want.
What don't they do?
Yeah, artists, philosophers, free thinkers.
Yeah. But
mainly I go for the mud bath. And I love the way she talks to the computer as well, because she's talking to herself.
Yes.
That's pretty great. Run it for us, dear. I love that.
Yeah, I love the discussion scene. Great. Even as acting's great. Yeah, the corridor's great. we will highlight briefly the side view because it's very notable in that costume. And then talks to the computer. She knocks on it. Yeah, I do wish they made more of a joke talking to herself, because I believe they did do that joke in the episode where Picard's in black and white costume, or the suit, where she can't read everybody and she's talking to the computer. I believe that's where they make a joke of it. I wish there's more of this. It's so funny and rare to see this. Like argue with herself would have been really good here, but again, that's farcical and it's just meant to be silly.
Yeah.
And well done, this effect of the door opening. That's really well done, and they never do that, do they? But why don't they always do that? Because that's really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like even have the seam line of the light, and this is it's a very well blended 2 layers.
Yeah.
I wonder if they couldn't fit the actual arch on the physical set. Like it was too small.
Maybe.
And do you like the TOS pipes? That's all I thought of. What are we going to put around the set?
I didn't think that.
TOS pipes. Okay.
About modern art or like schoolyard equipment.
Yeah, it's just something they grabbed off a lot, isn't it? Paint them blue, Johnny!
And Ray Lavi throws in $5.
Oh, thank you.
The cost of living is to say Kailash. An underrated episode. As I've gotten older, I found I like it quite a bit.
Thanks you.
There you go.
Dave, it's Alexander, Wolf's son. Guys, one more vote in the poll and we can swap to a new question. This is a very, very interesting result, so you can absolutely turn tides right now.
Wow.
Yeah. That's happened a long time, that sort of poll. One more vote, guys. Vote now. And 43 of you. Good to see everyone here. So this starts the silliness, Stuart. Now, I know you're not the biggest fan of this sort of stuff, so talk me through how you felt one at a time. Bubble Man first.
Oh, the Wind Dancer, you mean?
Bubble Man.
I mean, for a resort, it's a good welcome thing, I guess. He stands there. He guards, basically, and says, only whose hearts are joyous may enter, which is funny when Worf shows up. So I think it's kind of silly, but it's kind of cool as well. It's kind of a neat little, like, you're at a resort, so of course you're going to be treated like, to make you smile, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, I love the makeup. It is very clever because it's mostly just painted on him, but there's enough pasted on elements to give it a weird 3-dimensional feel. And it's reasonably well done considering it's multiple layers of effects. So, pretty good, although silly, but memorable. I don't know if I've seen it since. A floating polka dot man.
Yeah.
Like it. Although hard to do, of course, but Loxana's eyeline is never correct.
Yeah.
She's looking too far off in that way. It should be here. Right? Easy to do, but
yeah.
That was more distracting to me. But that's okay. And then we have the CG fire, I guess?
Fire sculptor, yeah.
Because that's pretty good CG fire fake. That's pretty effective. I was quite impressed.
And we meet the Juggler Man, who says, you're going to join us for a laughing hour.
Wasn't he great, though?
Yeah.
Really good performance. He absolutely just sold everything. Reminds me a lot of, not Mr. Flubber, the blue guy from Name of Wildman's program. Or like one of those characters. Yeah, very tonally similar.
Reminds me of Blix from the movie Legend. The creepy elf with the ears and yeah. But no. Then Alexander asks about, do you ever drop any do you ever drop those? And he's like, no, these are my worlds. I protect them. Master of worlds.
Yeah.
Never let anything bad happen to them.
Yeah, it's hard, very, very difficult to create textural sci-fi in this universe, civilian resort elements.
Yeah.
But I think they all hit for what they are. I'm quite,
Species 1571, weren't these effects only in the remaster? No.
I don't know. I can go check, though. I have access to both.
So do I.
Oh, did you look at both?
I did not.
But obviously you have mine both, so. But let me just read out or you can read out the poll. I will find those shots.
I'm going to end the poll as well. That's an interesting result.
Yeah.
Do you need ships and tech in your Trek, or are you happy with these sorts of episodes? So the winner with 35% is yes, like all Trek.
Okay.
To be honest is second, which is, to be honest, ships and tech are for me at 33%. And really, I'd watch it either way. It's 31%. So they're all very, very close.
And there's a subtle distinction between two of them, but you guys picked up on them clearly. That's, really interesting. I was expecting a slightly more one-sided thing. I'm kind of pleased that it's more broad. And what's this one called?
Cost of living.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see how bad it looks.
And I would
oh, God.
Would assume they're in the original because she does say fire sculptor. So
I just mean they could have redone. God, that is so blurry and so badly coloured. Like, just worse. Wow, that's so different. That looks pretty damn similar. All the floating spearing stuff, that's the same, you can tell.
Yeah.
No, that's the same. Wow. Hey, good job them. Yeah. I'm sure it's elements they put onto the scene, but that's really good. Anyway, Juggler's great. Love the scene. The balls, apart from the gag later, like, I wish the planet concept had been... I thought that was a setup, maybe. These are my worlds. Didn't have to be, of course, but it's such a... I remember that so vividly.
Mm-hmm.
And he's clearly a professional juggler. Like
Mm-hmm.
clearly he's just very good at that. Whoop. But it's good. And the arguing people. Next to Iconian Gateway. Or no, Preserver Obelisk. Because isn't that just the same exact colours?
Yeah. They're friends. Who else can you argue with if not friends?
Well, no one's Stuart.
Exactly. I'm not going to argue with you.
Guess not friends. I didn't take one date. I was hoping you'd argue. Yeah.
Then we get the old guy. Hold! What is the lesson for today? Every moment requires a purpose. And I love how Oksana's like, no, it doesn't.
I don't remember that from the first watch. That is a thing that the subtlety you only get when you're an adult. That level of like... Because big guy, big memory, big gimmick, tiny little moment. That's the thing that's more important in that scene. I'm not the biggest fan of the two people, the arguing people. They feel like cat in the hat creatures, or from the Grinch movie, pre-Grinch of course. I don't quite get the point of the guy, especially in this is a holodeck explanation of a resort. What is this? I don't get it. I've never got it. Can you explain this? What does he serve in this context?
He's a poet. That's all they say.
He's a oh, okay.
Because he says the higher the fewer, and Roxana says, "Well, that's a conversation stopper if ever I heard one."
Oh, I missed that. Right, I missed that.
And that's when Alexander smiles and goes up to the two that are arguing and says, "The higher the fewer."
Oh, see, I missed her saying that. Oh, I love the jugglers' reaction though. This is their program, so even in their own program, the program people are sick of the program.
Yeah,
that was good. I found all these bits entertaining, genuinely entertaining. These are all silly, but not too silly. They're well acted and good costume. I thought it was quite.
The only thing is, it doesn't come off as a resort to me. It comes off as a kids' holodeck program, like a kids' show.
Yes.
But small thing.
But in fairness, they could be at the kids' part of the resort.
Very likely, yeah.
But I mean, I thought it was really entertaining. But they had fun. You know, Michael Westmore designed like 5 costume or 5 hair and face things for like ostensibly seconds of time, with it zero, pre-established rules, just like things. You know?
Well, later we get a naked dancer essentially, with a kid in the mud bath. It's a little bit like, I think that would be done today, but. But then Roxana's kind of proud of him. She goes, "So my little warrior wants to see more out of life than just fighting. Hey, the mind opens and wisdom creeps in." So then we get Worf doing daddy duty and picking up clothes. It's kind of funny.
Do you need
They did hire the Frewer. He was Professor Ramison.
Okay.
Max Headroom is not in this episode. just for the record. All right, so the new poll is up. It is, are you a fan of the mud bath scenes? Yes, they're fun. Meh, no opinion. No, we don't want implied nudity.
I mean, some people have strong opinions, and some people are you.
Okay. Anyway, Troy shows up and says, I thought I'd find Alexander here. He wasn't at his meeting. Like, where's Alexander Roshenko? He was in holodeck 2. And I love that it's Major Barrett who's telling them.
Mother?
Yeah.
What have you done with him?
Yeah.
You see different things, of course, but we've built this set, or at least roughly this crew quarter set. So these shutter things, I've stole them. I mean, my model, but I've nicked them for other sets because they've now sound to me like, oh, this is low end crew quarters, crappy wall set pieces. So seeing him walk around them is fun, and a dodgy casting couch, but in front of that is great. Is the Kalesh statue fighting Molor with his clothes. It's just a good texture again in these scenes.
Oh, I got you, species. That's funny. Just a joke on the higher the fewer, higher the frewer.
Just don't hire the Führer.
Don't you? Oof.
So anyway, naked guy in a mud bath. Look at that dad board. That's a guy.
I love how they're eating their glasses as well.
I remember a distinct joke about that in the story. It's never mentioned.
I did too. I think that might be a Mandela effect.
Yeah, because I remember being like, I have vivid memories of one of the aliens saying like, "Oh, I love them," and then I was like, "Oh, you can too," and I get, they don't even, but they all doing it and they don't mention it. Who else that?
I was waiting for it too. Like they didn't know that they were edible until a certain point. Yeah.
Like I have active memories of that. Guys, do you remember it? Because it's a great choice. Although you can tell none of them have any liquid in it. Just the way they hold them is all like they're just static props. And I wonder what they're actually made of to be edible. Hope it's not styrofoam.
Oh no, it would be. It's probably just like a white waffle cone kind of deal.
Oh yeah, waffle cone. Now, how do you feel about Alexander kidnapping Alexander and taking him into a naked bath where he probably saw everyone naked in this scene? How do you feel about that?
Doesn't bug me. It's very European.
Oh.
Nudity's not a big deal, right? So who cares?
She kidnapped him.
She didn't. It's not the definition of kidnapping. Oh my goodness.
It's just a weird thing to put in a Star Trek episode, is what I'm saying. It's entirely out of left field. Like if they're all in alien bikinis or swimsuits that were like really bright colours, no problem. It's just a weird thing to cut to, of course. I know it's meant to be, but it's like, oh, okay. All the random people are naked. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird choice.
And yeah, Ray Lavi, I agree. Germanic and Normans don't make a big deal out of non-sexual nudity. Anglos tend to be Puritan about that stuff. Just an observation. 100%. 100%. And then the encounter of Worf and the floating head. It's kind of hilarious. And then he pops it. That's murder, man.
Hollow side.
Yeah.
And I will say it was a very good CG crossfade edit of him slapping. It looks as if he was doing something like hit maybe a real balloon or something as well to make the effect, because it was very visceral for as little moment as it is. Oh, harsh.
And the dancing girl reminded me very much of the ones from the first episode of Enterprise, the blue women that were like using their tongues to catch the butterflies. But
yeah, I was left thinking about Vina, but this one's but she has a nicer butt. This one.
Yeah, the moves are very, very Orion dancer.
She's a very butt dancer. I commend them for this choice.
Yeah.
And all resorts should have this. Well, who are the other two people who appeared? On the left.
Just other people from the resort.
It must have been like a deleted scene or something, because you wouldn't. They both, you can tell, they got facial makeup and new costumes. Huh.
Didn't think anything of it.
No, neither did I. But I bet there's like a bonus scene in the you know, it was quite a long scene of who are these weird people. I bet they had one. They say I cut off for time, but it's in the group scene. Colors are wasting money, right? They're throwing money at costumes and.
Yeah. Huh. Excelsior's domain says naked is pretty standard for Beta Z. Yep.
That is true.
At the end of the episode.
That is very true. That would have been a good reference, actually. If she had said, no, we must all observe the Beta Zordian tradition for mud baths. Say what? No clothes, no suits. That would have been quite funny. And then, then the grumps show up. And it's great.
Yeah.
Simple and effective. And now they're in trouble.
I love this too. You're not helping by giving him a lot of mixed messages. I exposed you to all sorts of mixed messages when you were that age, and you turned out deadly dull. All right. So what are you worried about? Yeah. Yeah, giving her mom shit for basically sabotaging the relationship between Alexander and his father. And wondering why she's not absorbed in her wedding plans, because it's only 3 days away.
Which I think we've all forgotten about as viewers by this point. It's been so focused. You're like, oh yeah, that was meant to be a huge plot, and it's really not been.
And she's like, well, Mr. Holmes taking care of all that, including altering the wedding dress that Mr. Campio has provided was his mother's.
I thought the outrage first was, oh, you're altering the dress, you're going to make it purple and weird and crazy? That's really rude. It's like, oh yeah, naked. And then it's even more like, oh my god. Then you're like, oh, what's wrong with her? Now she's not doing what she would normally do. Now Roxana's either ill or mind virus. That instantly, as I was watching it deep into, like, oh no, what's really going on? That was a very good,
yeah.
That's a very good transition, actually. And the way she, again, there's so much depth to her being truly flamboyant.
Yeah.
Here, very, very effective.
Oh, I just love the reaction. Mother, stop! You're telling me you're not even going to be naked at your own wedding?
It's ludicrous, Stuart. Ludicrous. Ridiculous.
Oh, I can't believe I'm hearing this from the heir to the holy rings of Beta Z, holder of the sacred chalice of rings.
Hey, it just occurred to me, why the hell wasn't Roxana in Nemesis at Troy's wedding?
Maybe she was too far away, or...
What? Yeah, why was Majel not in Nemesis? Probably Wesley could be in Blade Nemesis.
Well, while you're looking that up, I think we should talk about this man you hardly know. And she's like, I'm having problems with this replicator, which I brushed off for a second. And then when the tea finally materialized and it had sausage in it, it's like, oh, okay. So this is where the actual, like, ship-related plot's coming in. Because up to this point, we didn't really hear much about it. So, anything, actually. Yeah.
She was ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, good conversation. Again, nice and grounded. She's very, Deanna's very JJ09. Appling. And the sausage gag's pretty funny.
Yes.
Because I was assuming that
she goes to drink it too.
Yeah. And she does. They don't cut. She does drink it. Sausage water. I thought this was going to be a gag that she's so messed up that she orders. So she's really not in control of what she's doing. But it's the holodeck. It's the technical glitch, which the thing evolves at a brisk pace. Therefore, I wasn't necessarily following all the subtleties. But now in retrospect, it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, Tristan's right. They're going to Beta Z and Nemesis. They're going to do that part, the Beta Z part, later. I think they mentioned that. This was like the ceremony for everybody else. Yeah.
Nice. And then to some actual Star Trek with the boys at engineering.
Yeah.
So it goes from proper melodrama to proper, yeah.
200 reports of malfunctioning replicators. We better look into this before the captain decides to order dinner. Because once the captain's inconvenienced, then we're really going to be in trouble.
That is a fair point, actually. That is a fair point. That's a funny one. Love the Jeffries tubes. I love they both got changed just for this. Just feel the need to whatever. And I like the 3 notes about the tricorder, because obviously I'm sound design. It turns on this sound a second too late. It's meant to be connected with the lights. They're 1 second off, that's fine. There's a great reverb of the tricorder. There's very organic, so well on them. And when he's scanning the thing, they actually repeat the audio, doesn't shift in any pitch, or it goes. Ooh. That's kind of unusual. Normally, it's just a generic shifting pattern. Small notes, but I was like, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
And he detects a
thing.
There's no plasma leakage, just a little negative ion charging, and then the goo comes out.
Kind of aliens, isn't it? Or alien.
A little bit, yeah.
And if you look at the live, you can see, this is stuff we forgive. You talk about, people complain TOS being cheap sets. Stuart, can you not see the paint on the wood grain? Like, you know what I mean? Like this sort of close up, that's obviously wood that's painted and a sticker. Right?
Yeah, but this is also remastered HD. It was never really seen like that on the TVs at the time. So,
well, indeed,
yes.
People complained about TOS after it was remastered as well. So,
yeah,
I just find it stupid. Of course, it's wood sets. Like this is a wooden colorway. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree. Preaching to the choir, my friend.
I just want to point out. But I love the goo. I love the way the edit was really good. It's like, yeah, just good little little choices for direction. Now I'm assuming that Magel's wearing wigs the entire episode then, because
yeah,
I
would imagine so.
Because this is like a what? I haven't your hair. Because I don't mind the outfit. It's just the hair. I don't think complements it well.
No.
Well, I do quite like the hom gag.
Yeah.
Nothing we do can fix it. It is what it is.
I still love when Alexander is at the door and is like, "You just got Mr. Home." It's great.
And that must be like a TNG world record of shortest actor in the show. He's tallest actor in the show with like a 5 foot difference in height. It's so unnecessary, but it's like we got really. Let's do that one shot quickly. Yeah, that was good.
So she asks why he's there. He's like, I hope I didn't get you in trouble. And she's like, no, of course you didn't get me in trouble.
And very sincere acting by her. That was a really nice little moment there.
It was fine until I saw this dress. It's like, why are you getting married? Did my daughter send you? And she explains what marriage is, and you want to spend the rest of your life together. And then she goes, this is the sad part, where she's like, well, when you're young and lucky, you'll meet somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with. But as you get older, well, then she admits she's alone. And she'll compromise to just be with somebody. It's kind of sad.
It was very relatable.
Especially if I think this is right after, or not right after, but the first appearance of her after Gene Roddenberry had passed away. So
yeah, I kind of was expecting her to mention Troy's dad even any.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got confused. I was thinking of Jack Crusher when I was picturing this. I don't remember how.
I did too.
Yeah, because that's other dad. Yeah. How did Troy's dad die? I don't remember.
I don't recall either.
Exactly. So it wasn't Jack, but yeah, very very good little scene, very relatable. And I guess they're implying that she sent out on basically a space Tinder, looking for applicants, and then she picked one. Essentially, yeah. Yeah.
Your profile before, yeah.
And this is before dating profiles, like.
Well, no, they were like dating profiles in like newspapers and stuff.
Well, that's what I mean, except the print, yeah. But to reply to those would be significantly more difficult than interaction on a media platform. But it's a good little scene. She does very well. But yeah, the sadness definitely comes across as genuine because she's tapping into real. Yeah.
Yeah. And we get we trace the subprocessors and all this stuff.
Classic.
The nitri. Well, we haven't got there yet. Anyway, so it was transformed into a gelatinous material, and then the ship starts because the inertial dampening system is failing. So he's like, "Drop us out of warp." I love that. So while they were in warp, they were having issues with their inertial dampening, which could be very bad. So immediately it's like, "Drop us out of warp." Good call. And this is funny because it's like backup generators coming on now, and it's like, all right, we'll put us back on course, but for impulse for now. The whole ship has been shaking. All right, you got families on this ship. Don't you think now would be a good time to say, ship, this is the captain. We were experiencing some difficulties. Please, whatever. Nothing is reported to the crew. Picard is just, I want to know what's going wrong. Analysis in 30 minutes to Riker. And I guess it's Riker's job to then go pass that on to everybody. But this would be a good time to say ship-wide comms or something to be like, don't panic. And the other thing is, all the shit that's going on the ship during this B story never affects Loxana or the minister later.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's never brought up like,
nope.
Oh, we almost died because the life support systems were failing, but we're gonna have a wedding now. It's just like, what is happening? They're totally disconnected.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a point when cut to Loxana doing something. It's like, what's happening? Like, that's all you need, right? I mean, underserved, but that's all you technically need. And guys, four more votes will end the poll. Let you guys' opinions be heard. We're again another close batch, so vote now in the poll. Yeah, the ship stuff is now. Is this the moment they talk about how fast warp they can maintain? Or is that later? Warp 6.5, I believe, is what they say. Oh, can't hear.
I said that's later.
Okay,
this
so
is.
I'll save until then.
This is the sensors didn't pick up the problem, and this was from the what is this from? The transfer systems for the the stabilizers.
Okay.
And they think it might be some sort of corrosion.
Okay.
And then it's funny because you see this is, I don't know if you noticed this, but Patrick Stewart checks his cue,
his mark,
his mark. Yeah, he's holding it, and he doesn't look, and then he stops. Don't know. So you did notice it? Okay, good.
No, I didn't. But Red Letter Media did this a recent thing about TNG, and they did a very, very broad edit of seeing. It is like, oh my god,
that was hilarious. Yeah.
Yes, that was one there. Oh, have a good one, Tristan. Good to see you. Guys, 3 more votes. 3 more votes. And yeah, let us know your thoughts, comments, and super chats. As we'll keep going right through.
Then Minister Campio shows up, so we gotta end this scene.
Nice. But also goo.
Looks like the slime from Ghostbusters 2, the feel-good slime. Which later, when it's... I would hate to be cleaning up this shit, because later it's like on the carpeted wall of the like turbo lift, and it's like that shit would probably stain and be sticky or leave like a dark spot after you cleaned it up. I don't know if they've just replaced the panel probably, but... And even Loxana, right in front of the replicator, pulls the sausage out and drops it on the floor. That's a carpeted floor, probably. So that's going to leave like a grease spot.
Okay, so the custom panel was a cutaway. That was a separate set piece.
Well, they probably had like something on the floor, yeah.
The Loxana said something on the floor for that. The one that they can't get away from was the turbolift when they inject it as the sets. That's actually that's going to be like wiping it and washing it away.
Well, those fabric panels probably come off. They could easily just replace it.
Yeah, well, they have to put cameras through them anyway. So absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I saw it was carpeted walls of a turbolift. Yeah, see, carpet is king, guys. Put carpet back in.
Sound dampening.
Yeah. Hey, fair point. But yes, the slime. It's digesting metal, isn't it? That's the big thing. Nice and simple. Nice and relatable.
Well, no, that's the residue left over. It's the glitter things that are digesting.
I mean, they will work out.
Cleanup job for the lower deckers. Yes, Mark Lawrence. You're absolutely correct.
So they meet up with a very powerful looking starship that's totally not remotely a repaint of the Packard one for one. Or in fairness, could actually be just a color graded.
That
actually might just be a recolored version because because why would you re-spray paint just for that?
They would have. It's also been 15 other ships in TNG, but, hey.
Yeah, but that's got the tubing on the side. That's actually the Packard design. Anyway, the guy beams in. I remember the actor. I can't place him, apart from this. Fun for the earlobes. Cool. And instantly, your heart sinks, because they're on a different level. He is respectful in fairness. He seems like a pleasant enough fellow.
Yeah.
But it's very apparent he is rule-based. The Roxana is live-based. Oh dear.
Yeah, and the sadness in her face is heartbreaking. But then Picard comes in. Sorry, I'm late. Ship's business. And he holds out his hand to shake his hand, and the minister just, hello, Captain. And Patrick Stewart has like this look on his face, like, oh, denied. You're the captain. You're diplomatic. You should know that not every species or culture would shake hands. Like, the minister bowed to you. You shouldn't look disappointed because it's like, okay. I thought that was a little off, but to be fair, Picard's not having a great day with the ship falling apart. So, and he just came straight from the briefing room. So, yeah. Anyway, protocol master Urko.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you can't talk to him.
Can't be too familiar.
Can't talk to him.
Yeah.
I remember that guy distinctly.
Yeah.
They were like, resting I hate you face.
Yep.
Not bitch face, I hate you face. Great casting. I mean for all of them, there's a good energy. Like the main guy is a certain flow to his dialogue. He wants to be there. He's happy to be there, but it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yes,
Yes.
And just Picard's sadness at the end, I think, that sells it the most, because Roxana's really trying. Because, you know, it's first meeting, right? You can't judge him just from that. Although, can she read his thoughts? Not even addressing it, right?
Yeah.
And you would think that she would then read our Troy, be like, she hates him, or, you know, Picard, she hates him, and then she'd see the room.
It's totally ignored in this. The writer didn't even consider.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if she had said. Would have been nice if she said earlier to Deanna, like, it's nice. I can't read their species, so it'll make life interesting or something.
Yeah, because something as simple as like, oh, I hate you too, the other guy. I know I'm attracted. Like, yeah. It's not often you forget about a giant writing thing for this character. It's like one of her defining features is that. Huh. Did you think that while watching it, or I have blown your mind a bit?
Yeah, I didn't even register the 2 times I watched it. So glad you mentioned it, because yeah, it kind of makes a lot of the episode just fall down. Honestly.
Well, but it shows how much more.
True.
It makes it far more nuanced.
Or they could have even had a line like with how sad and depressed she is. She's not really picking up on other people's emotions, kind of blocking her a bit. Would have been nice.
I mean, there's a few ways you could have had it be the particles they were affecting. So something on the ship is causing my powers not to work. I'm sure it's fine. Wave it off. It's fine. Or you could have had a simple thing whereby perhaps that a newly engaged woman, as preparing her mind to intertwine with someone else, goes into a mental celibacy, and so doesn't read anymore.
That's
turns
really
it off until they're married. Which makes a lot of sense, and it makes this scenario more tense for her, because she then can't use her cheat code to get to know the person.
That's fantastic. Put that in the Star Trek Encyclopedia, everybody. That's canon now.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
So the next thing they find out, it's the nitrium content that affected the replicators. But a lot of their systems contain nitrium. Mm-hmm. And
it's a real bad time.
Yeah. So this stuff's eating the nitrium and moving from system to system. It's a living organism.
Although would you think that eating a composite material, if you're eating one of the base materials, the thing doesn't retain its features of that composite material, so you can't just re-add necessarily a thing back. Like, it's a process to generate a new material. If you're taking that away, would that not break all of the material it's in, like, fundamentally as well? You can't just...
Yes, and I think that was what they imply with the systems failing, because if it was conductive before, now it's not, because the nitrium's missing out of it.
I just think it's not it's probably more dangerous than they fully register to the audience. It's like, oh, like I was picturing some of these things were like, you know, a container of sand, and they just ate some of the blue out of it. It's like, that's still sand. No, but
yeah,
these are important things.
Yeah, the lithium chamber is vulnerable, as are all the power transfer conduits. We'd better get to engineering.
Although I don't know why you can't just... Well, no, okay, I suppose you can't force... Well, why can't you force field cover something? And they never... Can they never track where the particles are? I feel like they've just...
They bring that up in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a little brief note here as well. This is actually quite similar to something that happened in the UK last year with a thing eating a thing, kind of. It turned out that a special... not anthrax, the material that was used to build for... Using building materials that's very dangerous, that's in always in ceilings. What's that called? Asbestos, yeah. So asbestos was found, a special variant of it was found to be used in a 1980s building technique, and then there's a report on one like falling down school in the Midlands, and then that caused this is real life, caused a nationwide like check, and turns out that material was like 50% of all government buildings.
Yeah.
And like 6% of all playhouses, and so like dozens of buildings have just been like, well, we can't use this building for 4 years because they've got to repair it. And by repair, we mean scrub it out of all the water. Yeah, so Marie's local theatre has just been closed for 2 years. There's a tent out. Yeah, because it's a whole process, and obviously there's a priority order. I think they worked out that not the most important government buildings had it in, but had a lot of... So, you know, very era-dependent, but it was like... Instantly, it removed dozens of buildings from being... And like, legally, just couldn't be in them. It was a very weird situation last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, next scene...
Ha!
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of love this because he's like, I promised to meet Mrs. Troy for another lesson in happy wisdom.
Love that line.
And he's like, just please eat your food. I promised. Should I break my promise, Father? Klingon never breaks his word. Okay, peace out.
Yep.
You said a Klingon never breaks his word. I did not mean now. Just eat. I don't understand, Father. You're confusing me. I kind of love it. It's kind of great.
Yeah, and I want to know, who are you siding with here? As a father and
Both.
As a person. Exactly. Talk about why, because this is a really good scene for that, I think.
Well, it's just, you should listen to your father. It's dinner time. Eat your food. Then maybe you can go. But as the kid, it's like you're teaching me that I'm supposed to keep my promises. I made this promise to meet her. Now's the time. I'm heading out. So yeah, I see it from both sides, and there's no real answer, because I love Worf's rebuttal to that. Understand later. Just eat. It's like, once you eat, then we can talk some more, and maybe you can go. I don't know. And then yeah. Alexander, he ends the conversation with, Father, the higher, the fewer, and walks away because he wanted to end the conversation. I thought that was great. But yeah, it's a tough one because they're both kind of in the right, but yeah, it is a confusing message for sure.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite bits because they're both just trying. And it shows how on different levels they are. But also you can relate to why they both don't like each other in a lot of ways. Worf is trying to be classic parent. He's not done anything wrong here. He's been very, like, compared to the first scene, he's really trying here. But he's going against from his, I'm doing perspectives, he's going against entirely unreasonable force. Children don't have developed brains. They're just saying and doing without being there properly thinking. Yeah. So even, like, all Alexander has to do is just sit, phone Lwaxana, boom. But he can't think. So Worf, he gets it. But Alexander, of course, dinner's any day. Lwaxana's only here for 3 days. I was already booked. She booked me first. I've already told you, and you said it's fine, just not right now. I can eat there. Like, there's so many layers, and I love the break promise. It's a tremendous thing. They play it very sincerely. So they're both the immovable object and the wall, but they're both right. However, of course, if he just said, Lieutenant Worf to Lwaxana here? He will be 30 minutes late. Is that okay? Oh, it's fine, Worf. Thank you. but drama.
Yeah.
But it's a really good little scene, and it's so one-dimensional in terms of the dialogue for Michael Dorn, but he does it so well. Yeah.
The next scene. So
38 votes, Stuart. Let me just jump in and finish the poll because we have more than I asked for, which is tremendous. Let's find a good screen cap. So the poll was this time: are you a fan of the new mud bath scene? Well, the winner, 37%, yes, they're fun. 34%, no, we don't want implied nudity. And 29%, no, meh, no opinion. Okay.
very close again, all around.
Yeah.
This next scene gave me a headache because it's so hectic what's going on. Like they want to talk to her about the arrangements. Alexander's there. He's waiting. She's promised him she wants to leave. She doesn't want to deal with this at this time. And Worf shows up. Worf and Deanna show up, and it's like, my son's not going with you. He's not staying here either. He's got to go back and eat. It's just so hectic, and it just ends with them noping out. Loxana and Alexander just leave. And I understand everybody's frustration, which makes the scene even worse because it's like I can relate to everyone in this room at this moment. Maybe that makes the scene better, not worse, but it's so hectic, and Loxana is bouncing, like she's turning around, she's grabbing Alexander, she's stopping, she's letting go of Alexander, she's going to talk to somebody else, grabbing Alexander again. It's like, wow. Very well put together scene. And very relatable, I think, on many levels. So,
This scene I loved watching as a filmmaker and a scriptwriter.
Yeah,
it's the most controlled chaos that on the page, it's bland as all hell from a purely reading point of view, right? But everybody is here to be annoying in their own way. Because everyone's got their own perspective they're fully certain on. Except Loxana. So therefore, everyone has a certainty, and each certainty butts up against everybody. And it's really fun, because no one's right, no one's wrong, I mean. But
she even... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
She even takes a second out to, like, do a typical comment to her daughter of, do they ever let you change out of those colorless uniforms? That. And then turns right around back to the other conversation. She's still got to get her mother kind of dig in.
Is that your wardrobe or something? As if you've been given by a set department? That was great. That was such a fun meta reference. Yeah. But I imagine the rehearsal, like, how do you tonally pitch Loxana here? Because she never feels defeated. That's what I like about it. She's this uncontainable force, which of course they're trying to contain. All of them are trying to contain.
Yeah.
But also she's being bombarded. But she never gets negative. She never gets aggressive. She's never too playful to make it silly.
She even compromises and said, okay, not an hour, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. She's, for her, remarkably reasonable. It's actually a really, really well-directed and well-acted scene from everybody. And even the dig of, you can't say him personal names that her new possible husband, call him a magistrate, like silly stuff like that. But then she adds to it and uses it. It's almost like improv. It's
yeah. And I love how the minister's even like, Counselor Troy, have you no influence?
Ha!
Then Alexander jumps in.
That's a good joke. It's a well played. So it's a well played joke, which I guess implies maybe that Loxana made the ha noise first, and then Alexander copied her. But of course, and then Deanna copied it from Loxana when she was young. Yeah. It's a really good scene. I was left thinking though, there is a second door behind them. I was waiting for because that's another door. It's for they tend to use that for like Captain Picard's version set.
Yes, yeah.
So so I knew that going in. Although we don't actually want two doors in your room. It should really be a closet, if anything. But of course, it's a door to the corridor. I really like this scene. It's actually a really, like, for the most non-scene, it's really, really well done. It's goodbye. Yeah. Peace out. Well, you would have heard the door, but that's okay.
Everybody was talking. So it's one of the things you hear it all the time, every day.
True. Hey, no, that's fair. Yeah. Although you say that, but we hear our Skype call noise like 7 times a week, and we sometimes sing it. And Stuart, I did a new poll though.
I know. I saw his Loxana character Is the Loxana character overall annoying or awesome? Go vote. So now we're down in engineering. This is a room we never see. It's all in red for some reason. There's no evidence of the things there at this time, but there's a sphere energy fluctuation in the access panel. When they pull it off, they see the creature thing leave, and then the goop comes. And here, it's when Picard comes in late in the next part, where they talk about how they can't really track it or trace it. Third option is missing. She is both. There you go. And Species says, a tough question. Loxana annoying most of the time, but great in a couple of episodes. Half a Life, the one with Timison, and The Dark Page, the one with Kestra. And the one where she's with Odo as well, when they get stuck in the turbolift. Is another great Loxana episode.
That one annoys me for so many reasons. I don't remember any of them, but
eventually we'll review DS9 and we'll get there.
When we get there. Yeah, what was my point? So this, I really like this little scene because they are trying so hard to not show us the transporter room. I love them for it. I never considered this set with red lighting. It looks incredible with red lighting. The shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to do this for my films because it is such a good looking, just the depth and the. Yeah, it's really good, and the fact they show when they go back later, they show Picard in there walking to where the console is. There's a new just wall piece, or in the middle of the room wall piece. I'm like, so because you got to think like it's movie magic, but these guys are filmed 150 days in this transporter room set, and here they're walking back set saying. Right, so it's not the transporter room. No, it's not. Right, I can see it. Yeah, I know you can, Patrick. Just it's a new room, but 1 inch that way, pad. There's a very effective reuse. I've never seen them do that before for that room. This room is very, very not reused.
Ever, I don't think.
Yeah, it's really well done here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're back at the holodeck program, and the guy ate his balls.
Real sincere. He did a great performance. And a good lesson. Don't eat your balls.
Yeah. If you ever have worlds, plan ahead. Don't eat it.
Or I suppose don't ruin a good thing.
Yeah.
By destroying it with your mouth.
I love Alexander's question here. Would the guy you're going to marry ever want to take a mud bath? Well, probably. No, of course not.
This is a very good, deep little moment. Loxana plays super. You can feel her subjugation to her understanding of the situation.
Yeah,
she's more and more oppressed. She's not like, but she's more normal. I like Alexander reading her and now knowing enough to pipe up because he's a very quiet character. Him being able to throw an idea out is quite unusual for him in this episode.
Yeah.
And he triggers her to think and brain and. It's good. It's a good little heartfelt moment for what are two incredibly side characters, and he's not the best actor. They both do great here. I would probably imagine that they probably hung out a bit before filming because children actors, it's good to have a bit of rapport with them. I get the sense they probably like each other quite a lot as people, so there's a real chemistry here that I think helps to no end.
And then she sees the glitch in the Matrix, the ooze running down in some holodeck, and she's like, we got to get out of here. Which made me think that's the reason the juggler lost the balls, because as they leave, he's like he thinks he sees them.
Very odd.
I kind of get the implication that there was a little bit of a glitch in the programming, but they never delve into it and they never explain it. So
they could have done with doing a CG ball that fades in and out.
Yeah.
So he thinks they are there, but they're not there. But great holodeck wall shot. We rarely see that. So I appreciate that. Back to the set I talked about. He walks in front of this thing that's never there. Just great lighting, just good. Yeah, just. And they come out of the side room, and I guess it's there. So does that mean for a fan film? Because clearly, it's that room because there's the same conversation. Now, of course, yes, you could travel 10 hours and have the same damn conversation part 2. That's what they always do in film. But in theory, that's the room. So I guess I could have a fan film where they walk into the transporter room, but not.
Yeah. So they basically determined here that oh my God, I just lost what I was going to say. Picard puts it together that the asteroid field they were at was high concentrations of neutronium or nitrium. So if we go back there, maybe that could be a more natural feeding ground for them. And this is where Data says, Captain, with our sensors unable to detect the parasites and the speed with which they appear to be moving through the ship, we may not have 5 hours and 20 minutes. Because I love how Picard asks, how long at warp 9? Like, this is actually an emergency now. And he also messages the bridge and go back to the whatever cluster at warp 9. And yes, sir, no questions asked, just boom. But yeah, it's a little bit of technobabble, but it's really well delivered. And I love how Picard kind of puts it together that just take them back to their natural feeding grounds.
Mm-hmm. It's so balancedly delivered, all of the stuff in the subplot, that it never has a pace or a threat. Really, because they're all just doing it professionally. It's their job, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
I also love how Geordi's like, by the time we spot an energy fluctuation, it's kind of too late. They've already, consumed it all and moved on. And then on cue, all the lights flicker.
Oh wait, Delancey's in this episode? I didn't see him.
What?
Delancey. John Delancey. Q.
Yeah, what about him?
You said on cue the lights flicker. I don't know who's in this episode. You must have been so confused just then.
Yeah.
It's called English dry wit.
Yes, it is dumb. Just kidding. Anywho, so we got a turbo lift shot. You get to see a lot of the ceiling of the turbo lift in this one too.
All that lovely carpet pattern, very useful for recreation. That's clearly a cutaway. We just build that briefly and do it. But yeah, things are going real bad. I was kind of shocked this is not a moment. Sir, the thing is going haywire. Now on the bridge. Oh, okay.
It almost was. Stop at the next deck, and it didn't acknowledge or stop. And he's like, computer. And then it's like...
Because the next deck is the ceiling.
So. Yeah.
I really thought that was going to be a plot. Didn't need it, of course, but I was shocked how it's a good little setup here, and it entirely isn't.
There was another moment too where Picard's like, and they would follow the beam like a trail of breadcrumbs. And you get a little bit of a confused look on Data's face, like you would ask, "Breadcrumbs, sir?" But
yep,
it's season 5. He's used to their anachronisms by now. He's like, all right, whatever.
Well, yeah, I think it's definitely a case of, and this is throughout. We've put on a few of them. The characters, the actors know some of the in-jokes, so they're still adding performance beats to reference them, even if they're not being told to. Like lots of Picard's reacting to Roxana, like he knows the backstory. There's no line for it, but he's doing something to help tell that story. This is another example, as you say. It doesn't need it. Well, I did find it a little bit. Would Picard say breadcrumbs? It's not the most. That's a more Riker line.
Yeah, but it's toning it down and explaining it to the audience.
Yeah.
Olivia though is here with $10.
Oh my god!
I want to see more Sam. Join Sam this Saturday for one of his new fan films.
I'm not in it, but thanks.
Want more Foley? Join Stuart almost every night on his personal channel. Want more Trekyards? Consider hitting like.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good plug. It's a good plug. Well done. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of wish there was one more beat to the Turbolift gag, but it's fine. It's just underwhelming. Although I always love the sound effect of how you open the doors by force.
Mm-hmm.
Small note. I do find it a little bit funny. Watching, so again, small things. They're in character the whole time. They come out of the turbo lift, and Riker is like longingly like waiting to be asked what's going on. He can just say, "Sir, there's an emergency." He's like, waits for his line in character though. What's going on, boy? Okay, now I can tell you, as if he's a little puppy that needs to be asked. It's a very small note, but it's the most unnecessary like formality. Just tell tell me what's going on without me to ask you. Or is I saying, go to warp? Number one, you heard, man, go to warp. It's like, yeah, you know, the unnecessity of that formality. And then it made me laugh instantly, you know, Picard to engineering. I saw you a minute ago, but hey, what's the situation? Like, it's the same damn beat, like, seconds-wise. But it's like, we just saw you, and now we're fucked.
The time-wise doesn't make much sense, because they literally just left.
It's been like a minute, yeah.
Then we see Geordi, and he's like, his shirt's all sweaty.
It's been a real bad minute, Stuart. It's been a real bad minute.
Yeah. Well, the parasites are now in the primary warp controllers, so...
I mean, can you get a worse, like, minute, really, to go from that to that?
Yeah.
Because Turbulence, I mean, how long should it take for engineering to bridge, realistically, on the Enterprise D? Is a minute too long?
No, a minute's probably about right.
Yeah.
But we find out, too, that they dropped to warp 5.7 from warp 9, so that extends the distance a lot. And Geordi's like, we can get you warp 6, but I'm not sure how long it's going to hold out for. Yeah. Then they're losing life support on decks 11 and 12, so they move everybody. Again, just make an announcement. And what is going on with the minister? Like, he must be kind of upset that this is happening, considering he's there for his wedding and the ship's like falling apart. We don't ever find out. It doesn't affect Alexander. It never affects the Waxana. It's just like, anyway, so yeah, Geordi gets them to warp 6.5, but that's it.
And this was one of those things where I felt tension here because they should really be dying soon. The amount of, like, the idea of keeping, oh god, it's like keeping your gas, you know, engine, motor, generator, your gas generator at a campsite still running while it's leaking gas from a hole. And also sparks flying from a bit. It's like, it is broken. It is breaking further, but without it, we all die. But I can keep it at 50% power. It's like, oh, good. That's real. You know what I mean? Like 9.9 times out of 10, no, drop out of warp and make repairs. But they got to risk the blowing up, and the fact that 6.5 felt like probably gonna die, but we'll do it. But also, you got to get there, right? It was an interesting. A very unusual set of dialogue choices for this sort of situation. It reminds me very much of, oh gosh, the Voyager episode when they're the mud people. Like, well, either we meet them and we say, you know, if we don't warp 9.9 with the drive that will kill us, we won't be able to survive. So we've got to do the thing that kills us to get the planet will save us. Oh, we die anyway. Like, that vibe, obviously without the puddle, but small thing, it's unusual.
So there's a lot of diverting of power and shuffling people off to different decks because they're shutting decks down because of life support here. So
doesn't quite have the same impact as it could have done, though. Yeah. But it's okay.
And I love this. So if we maintain our current speed, 2 hours and 23 minutes left, sir. It's like, if the rest of us lose consciousness, which is very likely, you need to carry out the plan as we discussed. It's like, aye, sir. And then they kind of just slump in their chairs. It's like,
out.
They were out of oxygen, or very low oxygen, for over 2 hours. And you would assume the systems would be getting worse the entire time too.
It could have been 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah. They would be slowing down.
Because Julie's not there to repair anymore.
Yeah, which makes the distance just grow and grow and grow. Or at least the length of time, I mean.
Yeah.
And it kind of falls apart at the end here.
It undervalues the threat factor.
Yeah.
But it also forgets that, life support's going, we'll just pass out, goodbye. What about all those manual breathing apparatus with, like, it's a very specific things happen to the ship. All the stuff that's by itself will be fine. All the shuttles have independent everything. They're all oxygen support things. And I'm sure if you had a shuttle with the door open and the doors open to the corridor, the air would circulate out the shuttle and keep the oxygen level higher, and therefore keep that deck okay, at least closer to the shuttle. Like, that would keep,
or at least the shuttle bay.
At least the shuttle bay. Yeah, like, there are ways to keep people not passing out very easily. They don't address, and we've seen many times they have anti-gas masks. Why the hell isn't the bridge crew taking a panel and taking them? They've got them. Do you need these people alive?
Why didn't they just put a big bait of nitronium or whatever it is in one of the shuttles? Have the things go to the shuttle and launch the goddamn shuttle.
I assume there's nothing spare. I assume they can't replicate it, otherwise.
Yeah, if they can't replicate it, would be my guess. Yeah, but the beam.
The beam is too easy at the end. It devalues the threat for sure. But I don't know why. And it might sound silly. I guess you could argue turbolifts are broken and therefore no one can move. That's a fair argument. But I don't know why you can't. Well, the writers couldn't say there's a plant in the Arboretum that's like 600% oxygen. Data, go grab that first. We're not going to arrive for 8 hours or 4 hours, whatever. Like, if that's on the bridge, it will keep us all not dead. Because, like you say, the dead factor, unconscious dead factor, there's a very... And they not entirely ignore it. I wouldn't even say it's a small issue. It's just they all should be dead. And there's ways of solving it.
Even after they get the shit off the ship, they still got to repair those systems. Because the systems are failing for a reason. But as soon as the things leave, it's like, whoop, everything's fine again.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a logical flaw for what is well for an episode. That definitely isn't so good. But they get there. I love the director. All right, everyone play dead. Brent, act normal. Just 100%. Don't every day. And yet with all the set lighting, all the red light, flashing lights, and.
So we got some confusing dialogue here too. Computer transfer power from the warp engines to life support, which makes sense.
Okay.
Got to ramp life support up at the end here. Activate the Buzzard collector. Activated.
Buzzard. He says buzzard.
Yeah.
Annoyed me.
Breach of dilithium. So they're at 32% structural integrity, which means the ship's going to basically fall apart in a minute. And a breach of the dilithium chamber in 40 seconds. So I guess activating the Buzzard collectors pulled in the whatever from the asteroids. And then he says reconfigure the hydrogen plasma mixture to include 30% nitrium. And then project emitter beam. And the emitter beam comes out of the phaser array.
Which is not hardwired into the Buzzards. I don't see how the gas is going to fly out the Buzzard into the warp coil, back through the ship into the phaser array.
Like, I don't know why they used the phaser array. I wish they would have used the deflector again.
Or the Buzzards. Take it in and then shoot it out.
Buzzards, yeah.
That said, this is absolutely a brand new shot of the Enterprise flying live. This is a gorgeous shot of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
The glows are really tremendous. Just like top tier. Yeah, yeah.
And why are there so many lights on if you're trying to conserve power? And where's the minister? Is he passed out? Is Loxana like lying on the ground in a hallway somewhere?
What if the minister needs more air than the average person, therefore is already dead? What if Loxana's talked so much that she's used all the oxygen in her room and therefore they're all dead? There's so many problems we're not dealing with it. Yeah, I definitely agree. That was definitely a weird one. And also, for some reason, I vibed that because... This is entirely irrelevant, really, but because Alexander had tried to connect Loxana to her decision-making process towards the minister, I assume they'd be together in the same room talking, minister and her, and therefore that'd be an important set of scenes that we're entirely skipping over. But therefore you can imagine that them feeling unwell, falling unconscious together, looking after each other might bond them in a way, because this is a dangerous situation, for hours. And they wake up holding hands, cuddling, because we'll stay together, Loxana. Yes, minister. Call me Bob. Okay, Bob. Like,
yeah, that would have been great, actually.
Yeah, like... But obviously that would undermine the end, of course. So I guess they ignored it. But it's definitely a giant, like...
Species says, remaster shot? Can you show the old one?
Oh, God. Sure.
Even the transfer of the like particles through the beam. This is like a glitter nightmare. If you've ever had a kid that uses glitter for crafts, it gets everywhere. It's shiny and bright and... irritating. It gets everywhere. I love how drenched their shirts are. So
I know.
The life support didn't cut out. It ramped up the heat. Because usually the ship would get colder, but regardless.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. It was just malfunctioning, so it could have been ramping the heat up.
And the sweat would clearly have, not necessarily froze, but got that's such a really good point. But it was very visible. You never see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it is obviously the same miniature shot because, of course, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
But in a very, very different. And I think you might prefer the original more.
Really?
I'll just bring it up now. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to tell you which is which. Right, there you go. Remastered on the bottom. Obviously. What do you guys think? And while it's waiting, I'll finish the poll. I asked you all, is Waxar's character annoying or awesome? The winner is annoying by 56%. It was close, but annoying wins out.
Yeah, see, I prefer the old one, but I prefer the glows of the new one. Like the deflector and stuff and the lighting looks a lot better on the new Enterprise. But the beam looks infinitely better on the original.
Like, what the hell happened? Because the old one, it looks like the ship's on low power.
Well, as they follow the beam down, like there's another shot of more particles in the beam. I think you're on the earliest one, which would be a better comparison.
I was looking at the ship, not the particles.
Oh,
because I'm referring to the fact that you talk about how the ship is too alive. Look at the classic one. It feels like a ship that's on low power. The windows aren't popping. On the side with bright light, there's no windows, so it feels like and all the new one, the ship's fully powered. Everything's a full like.
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
Like they've clearly like quadrupled up how many window passes are happening to brighten them. Like the ship looks beautiful, but as soon as you say it should be dark, like the original one's much better for vibe. I don't know why they entirely changed that. What do you guys think? Vote now.
Well, yeah, the dilithium chamber is 28% and holding.
Why is it not going down lower with things being destroyed, etc.?
Even before... Oh, God. He says transfer more power to life support, which is fine. But even before he activates the beam, all the lights on the bridge go... It's like, are lights part of life support? I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But
if you can't see, you'll bump into stuff and die.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's not like it's an abrupt ending because it's quite a slow scene, but underdeveloped massively, and it was very easy, just very easy. And yeah, they're stained uniforms. That is a dry cleaner's job.
Yeah.
Because do you think they're actually wet, or they like?
Well, they probably had a spray bottle, a mister, and then it would just be dark until it dried.
But these are pretty thick uniforms. That's a lot of spray. They're gonna feel that.
Oh yeah, like even and you saw Geordie's earlier. It's very wrinkled here. Wrinkled.
Yeah.
But I love this. Like Picard's like, Mr. Worf, coordinate your teams with Dr. Crusher and Commander LaForge. Assess damage and injury. Yes, sir. Dex 4 through 7. Everyone's dead. Which is oh shit. It's okay. We're fine up here. It just seems such an odd thing. Like they didn't announce. I'm sorry for the shaking earlier, guys.
This is your captain speaking. We're sorry about the delay reaching.
Sorry for the turbulence.
We're sorry to report that 40% of our crew has now died of asphyxiation. But we are expecting underway shortly. Just don't go to decks 1, 2, 7, 4. There's 0 oxygen. Repeat, 0 oxygen. Yeah. I definitely wish they'd had it be the ship was damaged. And it wouldn't have been kind of funny if the minister's ship had to come and like render aid.
Yeah.
Like the little piddly little ship had to like go and give them dilithium crystals or whatever to help them repair. Would have been quite a cute like full circle moment.
And Ozzy makes a good point. Worf has a clean shirt.
I thought that.
But he's a Klingon, so he doesn't sweat as much or as easily probably.
And he's far away, and they're like, no one's going to see. Although the lady in the background, she got very damp. But we moved past it. The threat is over. Everything's fine. The ship is back to warp 9.975. No issues.
Well, they do say temporary repairs are completed.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
It's wedding time. Sana is late because her outfit takes a long time to put on, you see. A lot of time.
A lot of blemish cream to get rid of those spots and, just saying.
Yeah.
And Troy looks fantastic here. But yes, of course she arrives naked. I love everybody's reaction. It's just fantastic. Riker's got this huge shit-eating grin on his face, and oh my goodness. Yeah. I love the offense that is taken by it from the this is infamous! Infamous! We must leave immediately! And shoves his hand in front of his eyes. It's fun.
Yeah, lots of stuff's going on here, actually.
Yeah.
Picard and Riker, both in the formals. Nice to see. No one else is, though. Beverly's there. She's refused to give any dialogue. She's just there. And she's happy to be there, but she's there. Good. Yeah, Troy is hella... Considering they just made a joke about her lack of uniform change. The one with a custom costume. Cool. Hom is phenomenal.
Yes.
Nakedness. And, of course, everyone's personal reaction is important here. Riker's like...
Yeah, baby.
Of course he would be. Although you would maybe assume that he's seen her naked on Beta Z when he was dating Deanna for some ceremony. So that's probably quite reasonable.
Yeah.
Gates has a little glint of eye like... Okay. Man behind's like... Very intense. Don't know what he was thinking. Worf's like, oh god, breasts. Very, very dismissive. Alexander...
Only 2 breasts. Our Klingon women have 4.
Only 2 nipples! Outrage. And I absolutely think the henchman guy thinks she's goddamn beautiful.
Yeah.
He is so into this.
Yeah.
And the main guy's like, huh. Just gone out of his head, right?
Yeah.
So I like that slight difference. Yeah. Then the outrage. Although the really could done with a blooper, he does this. The guy's like, could have done that as a little visual gag. Although I'm surprised there's no technical resolution with the subplot. Like, he leaves.
Oh, it's offensive. Yeah.
I guess the whole thing, the wedding's off. Like, yeah.
I was going to be beamed back to his planet and broadcast planet-wide, so it was unacceptable. Yeah. Then we get them all in the mud at the end. She's talking about how every pore in her body is tingling with contentment, and got to teach Alexander about the joys of life, and yeah. And oh my God, Deanna looks like a Greek goddess with that hair. Just saying. And Worf's reaction's the best. Do we just sit here? Indeed.
Yeah. And this is a good little... Although, Alexander looks very uncomfortable. But, it's a weird day for him. Troy, good for her. Yeah, post-wedding hair. I mean, she spent an extra 2 hours in wig makeup to get that.
That's fantastic.
I mean, she's definitely 2 feet taller now. I mean, like...
Yeah.
And I was actually... I remembered the Worf gag. I remember... It's amazing this was so many fake memories. I remember the Worf gag being... He's like... Like, I remember him sort of so relaxed, he, like, zones out. And so for watchers, like, cuts him being really angry.
That's on the Bridge of the Enterprise D.
That as well. That is a great. But, like, is that just me remembering him being really relaxed and liking it?
Yeah, I think that's just you. I don't remember that.
Okay.
So
I was quite surprised when he hates it. And then it's a very abrupt edit from his dialogue. Like there's no breath time in the scene. There's no cuts. It's a really bad final edit. It's like switch here, good cut. Oh, what? It's very weirdly abrupt. It needed to breathe for a second or two. But it's a good ending. It's a very appropriate ending in a cathartic way that links the subplots together. I do think Worf has learned, because for him to do that, he's real trying. That's pretty big for Worf. So
you know what would have been the icing on the cake, though, at the end there with Worf's head? Is have the little balloon guy behind him going like a silly face.
And into the camera. Bloop, pop. Yeah, that would
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. That's pretty good. So there you go, guys. Episode 20 of Season 5.
Pretty good discussion, actually. I didn't think we'd have a lot to talk about with this one necessarily, but
I was about to say, that was a full-length discussion. Didn't pad at all.
Yeah. I just have it on the picture of Deanna right now, so that's where I'm leaving it.
Okay, that's fair. So, Stuart, how can people interact with us in these final steps of this live?
Well, it's the time of the show where you guys put in your final score out of 10 for this episode. And if you want to super chat that, we'd really appreciate that. It really helps us out. So if you can, I will read all of the super chat scores when we are done with our scores. And if you put in the regular chat, Sam will read those. But we encourage you guys to help out the channel and support us with super chats if you're able to. We'd appreciate it. Even if it's a small amount, doesn't matter. It all adds up and makes a big difference. So, yeah, do that thing. Super chat.
Like even 3 5s.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So, Stuart.
Just here.
What is your new final thoughts, comments, including our discussion, and do you think you liked it more than you thought you did?
I'd say yes. I just wish the B plot was a little bit more involved. It's almost like they had this idea and they couldn't make it into more of an A plot, so they stuck it in this one. I do like the Loxana stuff, though. I think her and Alexander both did a fantastic job. The silliness of the wrap-up, though, I mean, we often talk about with TNG how quickly the episodes just kind of end and there's a quick resolution. This one definitely highlighted that, and there could have been a lot more, as we talked about when we went through this, there could have been a lot more ways to resolve the issues, or, you know, I think it was definitely missing something and felt very rushed for that B plot. They should have had more scenes of it. That being said, the scenes with Loxana and stuff I didn't find boring. They never dragged, really. They were just, like, the pacing was fine. So I don't know how they could have changed things to really kind of wind that down. The one scene with all of them together in the room was fantastic. And, you really feel her sorrow, though, in this episode. And I think that was just so well done. But yeah, I kind of like it more than I thought I would after we talked about it, to be honest. So, and comparing the shots from the original to the remastered was shocking, actually.
Yeah, that was a distinct artistic difference.
Yeah,
it's like if you compared the 4 different VHS, DVD widescreen, Blu-ray, 4K of The Matrix 1, every single version is a different color.
Yeah.
Some are green, some are blue, some are natural, and they all change the feel of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that. It just changed the feel.
Riker and Beverly are decidedly absent from this one, which is...
Riker's got his walk.
He's got his moments.
And his look. His naked look. But yes, certainly.
Yeah.
Of the team.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is for this season, which of course we're still sort of in and sort of forgetting, and all TNG.
For this season, I'll give it a 6.4. It's still not as good as a lot of other stuff in this season, and it's one I will not seek out to watch.
But you might appreciate more now.
Yeah, I would say so. For all of TNG, trying to think of the bad and the good here. 5.9.
Okay, sure.
It does character really well for Luxon,
Yeah.
and Alexander doesn't really ever get much.
No.
And he was really good in this, so.
Very interesting, yeah. I can happily report it's not your worst of the season.
Which is, can I ask?
Oh, yes, you can.
Which is?
Sorry. Hero Worship. Although, it's interesting. It has a... So Hero Worship has a worse this season score, but a higher all TNG score. Ensign Row is lower overall. Yeah, Ensign Row you said lower. Yeah, sorry. Which I think makes sense for you.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. How about you? Do you have a new appreciation for it, or like, what did you think going into it? Was it one that you were looking forward to watching?
Well, no, because you told me it was bad several times before going into this.
Yes.
I trust your opinions, Stuart. But as we were watching, I said, there's no spaceships, no battles, no tech. That's why I don't like it. But that's not a reason not to like it for me. So it's about scripting and filmmaking. They did a lot with a little, as I've clearly made points of this episode. There's good script, there's good pacing, there's good character development. I think probably Loxan's best so far, and I do probably think the best overall if my memory serves for me, performance-wise. Yeah. Dana's pretty good in it. Everyone else is there, but it's about her and Alexander pretty evenly as well. There's a lot of time just for both. It's not like Alexander is the gateway to Roxana. There's a good split. Both arcs are maintained and carried through, which is nice. It feels consistent. These are sets in a few different ways, which I like. That was good. The choice of the transport room set was great for the red lights. It's another particle alien thing enters ship, causes problem plot, but it was so minimally focused on that it's like, okay, that's a fine way of things to happen, whatever, the plot is the plot, so that's absolutely fine. But I think, yeah, I remember this one as being a few of those visual gimmicks, and I do remember being a kid and being annoyed by the kid stuff, which is not a good sign if that's the point of the scene to be for kids. I just didn't, it was annoying, it was obnoxious. This time it all has a place, and it's on that really balanced line of being too silly but in context with the deeper themes that resonate with it. So as an adult, I think they really balance it far better than they could have. This could have been a trash episode, just absolute trash, and it really wasn't. It was actually much better than it could have been. I wonder who directed it, because I think they had a very good job. Score wise, what is interesting about this one is that there's not many moments except a few camera moves and bits of scenes. They're actually excellent. But what's bad in this episode? Actually bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the ending is underdeveloped, but for dialogue versus pacing. But there's not really anything bad about it. And I think an episode should be, those things often detract, either a moment or a scene or a character or whatever. This doesn't have anything. Even Loxana, she's pretty solid. So it's certainly better than average, because the average... it's not as entertaining as this, right? And an episode that focuses entirely on two side characters is quite a big, bold thing to do, really.
Yeah.
Score-wise, yeah. This season's not the best. But obviously we don't remember the full season. I'm going to say... 6.9 for this season. So a bit higher. Teetering on 7, but maybe a 7 in retrospect. I think we'll have to see. I think it's better than average, but not quite. And it wouldn't take much to make it better. It wouldn't take much.
Yeah.
All TNG, I think that's where it benefits, because there's so much. This is not. I think I'll give this a solid 6.5 for all TNG. I think it deserves a better than average. I think if you were to do a quick fire, if somehow you could download every episode into my head and quick fired them, that would probably be a higher rank if I was to remember every episode back to back. But remembering them, I think that's a fine place to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting. All right.
So it feels weird to go to 7, I think 6 is a very confident place for it to be.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no super chat scores.
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh, no.
There's some other ones, though.
Yes, so all of your non-super chat scores are, of course, 4 out of 10. Wow. 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 5.7, and 6.
And
What?
another 5. You missed DVBs.
Oh, it is, and 5. Why 4s, guys? Because 4 is a pretty... I mean, we rarely give 4s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know. Comment.
Yeah, please do explain. I would absolutely love to know why.
I like DVBs, though. 5. Absolutely stellar peak Star Trek cinematography and lighting, but kind of boring story, in my opinion. That's kind of, I think, what a lot of people might be thinking.
But if you like Roxana, this is top tier. And if you like big character stuff, this is right there as well.
Ozzy's mom gave it a 6. Ozzy gave it a 5.7. What's Donnie's score, says Ozzy. I don't know. Well, he was here a little while ago. Hero Worship was way better than this. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So I'm kind of... My scoring got a little skewed at one point, I'm sure. That was that long break we took between doing reviews, I think.
But also, you're not remembering moments that might have annoyed you.
That's true. That's true.
And there are always tiny things like, oh yeah, that. I think that's what... That's why we always have to trust our past selves, because we actually have seen and heard it. Or there might be some dialogue that was cheesy, or some pacing. Like, you're not going to have bad pacing problems for the most part in a 12-week later post. You know, so I just give yourself credit. I think you probably were right.
Species 1571. What score does Code of Honor and Shades of Grey get? I don't remember what we gave those.
Well, Shades of Grey, I think I gave an embarrassingly low score on purpose. And if you recall, I skipped all the clip show stuff, so I just watched a 17-minute TNG episode. It wasn't bad, it's just that's not a good episode. I don't have this... my metrics got at season 3 on this drive, so I only have starting at 3. 2 and 1 on an older hard drive.
That's a shame.
But, I mean, guys, you can go back and look at our video and tell us.
Yeah.
I mean, it is there. Someone could quickly go and take a gander. But yeah, that was interesting. That was definitely an interesting watch. What's next, Stuart?
Have a video coming out on Saturday?
No, I meant TNG review.
Oh. Well, let's see. What is next? I usually have that pulled up, but I don't at the moment. It is...
The X-Men crossover.
Oh, yeah, the perfect mate. Yep.
I'm going to have a slight issue with this one, though, because I've heard subsequently this lady's horrible to work with. Just horrible. So,
yeah.
We watch this to be quite interesting.
Yeah. Then after that is Imaginary Friend. Ugh. Then Iborg. We're almost at the end of the season. The next phase. Oh, can't wait.
Oh, yeah, that's tremendous. Yeah.
And then the Inner Light. Oh, my favorite episode ever.
Ever, Stuart. Don't discount your love for the episode, man.
That is going to get a low score from me. That's more boring than this one was to me.
I've never seen the episode a second time. Because, again, when you're a vibe, I'll watch a character journey about one guy that has no relevance to the Star Trek universe. I've never had that vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So, whereas I've watched Parallels and Yes Enterprise and Best of Both Worlds many times randomly, because, like, oh, that sounds like fun. That one doesn't really come up in the list.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll call it there. Thank you so much for watching. It is always a pleasure to hang out with you guys.
Indeed. We had about 45p at one point, which is great.
More than I expected for this review, honestly.
Yeah, and great poll. You guys jumped on the poll. Thank you for being so engaged. It's fun to have more than our goddamn verses. Oh, I thought
He means Trek versus. He always forgets the name of the show.
I thought he had a really good Frozen. I just saw the Borg thing move for us. I was like, oh, he's not Frozen. That was really good. Yeah.
When is perfect, mate? I don't know.
I mean, if you guys super chat, it won't be sooner.
Yeah.
But next week or week
There
after.
are lives that get super chats, and these ones don't. But we want to cover all these episodes, so we do have to throw them in. And after April 4th, we're going to be busy with Discovery. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know when it's going to be.
But tune into our ranked next week. We have some more Star Wars themed stuff in the pipeline. Should be quite interesting. Could get quite heated, Stuart. Maybe, probably not. I don't know. Maybe.
Anyway, guys, thank you for watching.
Oh, yes, I watched my fan film on Saturday. Watch that film.
Oh, yeah, it's fan film Saturday.
Yeah.
Have yourselves a great rest of the week and weekend, and we will see you next week. Until then, he is Commander Cockings.
And he is Captain Foley up there.
Yes.
Bye, Stuart.
The higher, the fewer.
The higher, the fewer brain cells.
Bye.
Bye.